Live streaming is on.
All right. Hello, everyone, again. Jitsi didn't want us to live stream at first, but it finally worked. So we are, Justin, you said this is week number 5, right? Is that right?
That's what was in for my Notion note.
Okay.
This begins week 5, yes.
This begins week 5. Okay, great. Cool. So how's everyone feeling? Give me like the traffic light kind of check-in on your guys' project or professional or like project work progress, maybe call it.
Yellow. I got 1 out of the 3
Yellow.
to-do list items completed.
Yellow and green.
Yellow here too.
Or red and green.
Red
Like
how you completed the cohort.
Yeah.
No, but I'm serious about that. I'm putting a hold on EngagePad. Gonna get a refund on my cash from that developer.
Did they confirm you're getting a refund?
Not confirmed. I sent the email. I haven't heard anything back yet, and that wasn't the account manager. So I'm gonna reach out to the account manager. So I'll have to do that. But yeah, putting a halt on that. While I was doing that, going through all that mess, another project had popped up, which I had been playing around with, and it looks like there's like a direct need, and it's based within like church tech. So just based on a direct need from my local church, I decided to put together this this new concept. It's not a new concept, but it takes like missionary giving and donations just a little further, basically. So it's just like one place for people that church members can actually give to different organizations and missionaries from one spot, because right now it's very spread out on the internet. You have to go to one website to give to one. So I'm planning on bringing it all to one mobile application that churches can offer their members. So I'm pretty excited about it. It looks like a really cool problem to solve. So, and there's a direct need. So I'm all in on this one right now. So yeah, and I'm also talking with. I'm involved with this this group called Faith Tech. So it's like faith-based, tech people, and I'm interviewing people who could possibly temporarily take a hold of the project, and in terms of the technical side, and manage it so it can get done, in terms of milestones in the correct way. Because there's obviously things that I don't see that a technical person would. So yeah, that's where I'm headed right now. For the next week, I'm looking to set up a meeting with the business leaders of the church, and to go through this concept, and kind of mold it a little better to what, around like their need. So I'm doing that. And then basically what I want to do is come up with a new growth strategy for this project. So that leads into, getting involved with more churches, actual missionaries and organizations, outreach. The church already has like a very good standing with, they already have a pipeline, that I could tap into in terms of the missionary side, missionary and organizations. So I'm going to do that. Start with one organization, for now, just for version 1. So that's a growth tactic that I'm looking into.
Steve, there is a company which I have found very interesting on Indie Hackers. I'm going to share in Slack with you, which you might want to look into and read up on. They seem to be building in public at least somewhat. They're having $48,000 in revenue per month for church websites. So they basically have, that's their service, right? They offer like very easy to design and build kind of websites for churches, and they have 50 grand in revenue. I think it's a bootstrap business of one person.
Dude, yeah, I had definitely vaguely seen that. So yeah, definitely send it to me. I think they were actually in one of the Indie Hackers, one of their weekly newsletters.
Could be, yeah. I mean, they certainly have a lot of traction, and it's kind of an interesting.
That's an interesting segment there. That type of business model. Like I thought about this years ago with fire districts or departments. Every fire department wants their own, but nobody wants to go out and spend even $5K to have somebody do it. So you should have a platform to where you just punch in your information. It's targeted just for that industry, and then it's geared that way. Then you do the same thing templated for churches, because every church is going to have the same type of information, the same offerings, and you just customize it there and then build it out. So it's obviously a bit like a website builder, but it's more, I think, like a platform or CMS targeted directly for that industry.
So Justin, does your guide ring a bell with that?
Yeah, I told Steve this when he told me about this idea. Was it last week or the week before, Steve? Remember I said it sounds like something that Timo, Sven, and I had worked on a while back called Your Guide?
Yeah, the core idea at least is the same thing, right? Like just
for the website,
almost like a white labeling service for churches, right? And so it's funny that you're saying this, because I have, so the core idea of Your Guide was, we started with the same concept, but for museums, zoos, and stuff. And I had a roadmap for the repeatability of this, right? Like Justin just said, of building different verticals with that kind of, we call it Rabbit App Build and Deployment System, which would have automated all of this. We actually have a prototype even for that too.
Cool.
And churches, as well as realtors and libraries, were 3 more use cases which were on my pitch deck.
Oh, nice.
So I think you're onto something there. I totally agree. And we should talk and see how much we can, might be able to use from what we already did.
Yeah, I'll next week I'll put it as one of my deliverables to show you guys the wireframes and how I'm thinking about it. Because what essentially it would be the church. They would design a white labeled mobile application with donation capabilities, and the church members can do all of their giving, their tithing, and donations from that one application. And it doesn't have to be just within the church. It can be within the
You waving to the cars outside?
Yeah, the motorcycles. But the core of this, I think the gold here is producing that database of all of these organizations that have different websites that you have to go to donate. This is consolidating. This is the goal, is to consolidate all that, and then later on in like other versions, I can see this tying into actual businesses, even creating like a credit system of some sort. That's further down the line, but it's just something that popped in my head a couple weeks ago. But this could be huge. I mean,
I think just to be that guy, right? I would really focus on doing that MVP, because I think you have it's very easy, at least because I thought about this space a lot, right? So super happy to also, have offline meetings about this if you want.
Yeah.
It's super easy to break this down into a application which is small, but revenue generating, because you have, even if you just focus on that very one use case, which is giving per congregation, right? It's one church, 100 members, whatever it is. It's a very well-defined audience.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to market it. It's the church itself. I mean, you have to sell it to the church, of course,
right.
But the app's maybe even free for them, right? Maybe you decide, I don't know, if it's $99 a month versus you take a cut off the giving or something, right?
Yeah.
But it's super, super easy to break that down to something from a use case perspective, at least. Technically speaking, we'll see how much work that is. But that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. So, you're just speaking about like the business model end of it, right?
Yeah, both. I mean, well, the designs obviously for us it would be different. We have a ton of designs for this museum app. I don't know if that would be usable for you. Probably not. But yeah, I mean, at least conceptually, we can talk hours about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely shoot you what I got, and then maybe we can discuss, next week with everyone. And
cool. All right, awesome. So I know Emmy isn't feeling so well either, so let's have her go first, or well, second, I guess. We can circle back to Steve if there's more to talk about.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
So Emmy, do you want me to share, or do you want to just give a little update?
You don't have to share. So my week was yellow, and that's a nice way of putting it. But for Gigless Garments, it was yellow. And I had a bit of a mental breakdown yesterday about video editing. Good times. Yeah, I just got overwhelmed with learning how to edit video and everything I had to do. So I didn't make a video this week for Gigless Garments. I also wanted, I've kind of been thinking more about the like the overarching goal, of course, of like what I'm doing and how to shift more towards the sustainability aspect. And it just seems more and more like just filling in my quota of one video a week is just not entirely necessary. Like if something comes out that I'm really proud of and I throw together a video, then great. But I don't want to just force myself to put out this content that's not really leading anywhere. I did drop a new line of cats and hats on Etsy. Nothing's come of it, but it was fun. And I talked to my partner again in St. Louis, which was nice. She said she hadn't written to me because she had some like personal problems, but she apparently sent my box of scraps for the dog beds yesterday, and I got to tell her that I sold a dog bed last week, and so that was exciting and fun to talk about. And I told her I've been working on some other stuff. I'm thinking about showing her like my knitting projects with the little like rag rugs, I guess. And because they have somewhere for all of their good clothing to go. They're kind of looking for more ways to use like the scraps and the stuff that is really defective that would otherwise just be thrown out. So like I've been knitting with yoga pants that I cut up, and it's just like makes like a nice thick kind of yarn. So I'm thinking about talking to her about that, and the cats too, because they only take little panels, so you can patchwork together some cats. I don't know though, because
while you're talking, just an idea popped in my head, like between you partnering with them to recycle those materials and you kind of coming up with those lines of things to make out of them. That's an interesting angle we should explore, or you could explore. It kind of made me think back to a Shark Tank episode number, I don't know, where there's a couple of these episodes actually, a couple companies like this out there where I think one of them was a company that employed military wives to knit products.
I talked to you about this before and you said that was stupid.
Well, it depends on how you do it, right? Because I think now that you are getting more into the thought leadership angle, if you're the facilitator between here are the product lines we're creating, and here is the provider of the materials. Now that becomes interesting. You're combining these.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I said when I originally talked about a guy we know that has the veteran organization, that if it was something that started to be more in demand, they look for jobs that the veterans can do to earn a little bit of money. So that's what I was thinking, like teaching them how to knit, teaching them how to sew, and they could be doing something with their hands, upcycling this textiles.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. Then I probably thought that was a little far-fetched, because now you're in the business of educating them. Now that's a completely different problem space, right? Like versus if you just, and I don't know who that is, veterans or not, older people, grandmas, who knows? But if you are becoming kind of the facilitator, the platform, I don't know, the brand, people get to know, to just be a part of, to work for, where you can get these things shipped to you, you can kind of maybe pick them up. I don't know, there is this ecosystem you can plug yourself into and make these cats, make these rugs, make whatever. And almost like Amazon fulfillment right now, where it's really interesting to sign up to Amazon, become a delivery driver, because it's guaranteed parcels to deliver. If you can position yourself with the e-commerce side of your business, that to prove the demand for certain pieces, and this is the exciting part for you, because you can create yourself, figure out which one actually has demand, right? Which line, which item, whatever it is. And then the ones where you prove the demand, you kind of offer that, pattern or whatever, or that connection. You put this together as a Poshmark style. Hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a creator for this upcycling brand. And it goes back through your e-commerce platform to sell. Of course, they would ship it and all of that, right? It's logistically a little bit complicated, but I kind of see something there. But I think you want to start really more as the connector rather than running those people, because if you need to educate veterans or whoever that is, that becomes tricky. I think you want to find the people who basically know how to do that, who just enjoy doing that, who maybe do that anyway. Like my mom, right? She knits how many pairs of socks a night? Because she loves doing it while she watches TV. And instead of knitting a sock, if she could make the rug, because you have proven that rug will sell for $50, of course, because it has all of these upcycled materials in there and 25% of that gets donated, now this becomes interesting. My mom would never get into that, right? Way too complicated. But you will tie all of these things together. That might make it interesting for just grandmothers to actually have an impact, right? And you employ now, or give a sharing economy kind of opportunity to 10,000 grandmothers. Now we're talking.
Yeah, I like that.
So sorry, I touched on a lot of things there, but I don't know. That could be something interesting. Was that all from your side otherwise?
Yes, I wrote a blog post.
A blog post?
Yeah, I wrote a blog post earlier. You all should have gotten it, I guess. That's it.
Is there anything that this group can help you with? If the current struggles, or just like, I think what maybe, if I may suggest one, would be helpful to you is getting maybe outside this session or right now, kind of more input from the other guys, right? Because you get this like condensed version from me like a lot. And we talk about it a lot, but it's still kind of a limited view, right? On your bigger picture vision, maybe, because that's something we talk a lot about right now.
Yeah, that's true.
So what would it be they could help you with, or help you think through, or?
Are you having trouble like figuring out your business like the business model of everything, or like a finding your thing, like that one thing that works?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the videos are just becoming daunting.
Or is that just like a today issue or yesterday issue? I'm losing everyone on video.
Yeah, same. Lost
Yeah.
that.
Are you still
But I
there?
think we're here. We're here on audio.
You were gone there for a second, Emmy. I don't know if you were talking.
Yeah, you guys were all frozen. I was just waiting.
To make Justin's point from earlier.
Okay, both of you are showing red bandwidth-wise.
Oh, I can turn off my video to save that at least.
So the last thing I said after Steve's comment was about the videos. Is that just like an issue you had yesterday, like a today issue, or is it something that is like also an ongoing problem that needs to be addressed?
I don't know. I think I might really hate editing video. But
I hate that. I would hate that.
Well, that's good to identify then, because now you look at a way to, you still shoot the video, but now you look at whether it's as basic as outsourcing to someone on Fiverr to put everything together and just pay a few bucks, or find a templated thing to put your clips in and spend 20 minutes at it.
I know it would be better because it already has gotten easier with using it. Like I know at some point it will get easier, but like it really just is really frustrating right now.
Are you like taking like clips and just like tying everything together?
So the Gigless Garments videos are actually not as hard. I'm also not as hard on myself about making them perfect.
Yeah.
But so the thing that Sven and I are doing with remodeling the bus, I'm also doing the video for that, and it's like maybe like 5 hours worth of video that I have to like comb through and piece everything together, and then get the audio overlaid, and then put music behind it, and all transitions and cutting everything down.
But like, being the insider on that particular problem, I think what potentiates your frustration with that is that on top of that, you're also transitioning to a more professional tool, which really is just complicated, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing, because I mean, you made the first couple in iMovie and you were fairly quick at that, like fairly quick at picking that up. But then we're running into kind of the limitations of iMovie now, which is why the decision to change over to the tool, right? So
I know the drastic difference. Are you using DaVinci Resolve or? Yeah, I mean that's a huge tool compared to iMovie. And that's why iMovie is so popular, right? But it doesn't matter where you go, if it's After Effects or Final Cut Pro, you're going to have the same thing. You probably want to spend like weeks training and learning on it. Otherwise, you'll probably always be frustrated with it. Or just return to iMovie and find workarounds.
Yep.
How are you taking the video? On your phone?
No, it's a camera. I don't know. Sven had it.
Yeah, it's like a camcorder, I guess, in a way, and plus GoPros, plus phone sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe grab a phone with a really good camera on it, and use a camera app, or a phone app to stitch things together. Maybe that might simplify things, and then you can disperse those videos. I'm sure they have where you can put a quick video together with some really nice effects and music, and then disperse it to wherever your social media is at.
For Giglets, he might be right on that, or at least closer to it. Like, you guys know, I generally disagree with that. Like, video editing is just hard, and if you want good content, it just takes time and effort. There's no way around it, I think. But for Giglets, that might not be so important, right? I think it would help for sure, but like maybe just experimenting with your channel and how you deliver the content is actually worthwhile. I think I agree with Steve on that.
Go with like
that's not
DIY thing. Sorry, Go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. That was just the last thought. That's not the point of it, right? Like it's more about getting the point across and your mission across rather than entertainment value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go for like a DIY look, just something that looks, good and people can see what you're making, but it kind of looks homey.
The Ken Burns approach, just have a slideshow, set the music.
Oof, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
The way I see it, besides the obvious outsourcing that where you're going to spend countless amounts of time anyway getting somebody to see your vision and then pay them. But again, I have no idea what your limitations were with iMovie, but I'm almost positive I think there's plugins available for iMovie as well to extend its functionality. And if you like using that tool, there's a reason why, of course, it's so popular is because it's made to be so easy as opposed to all of those other much more advanced products. Either find workarounds or for the limitations, or whatever you can do though to stick with iMovie.
Yeah, there was like a moment yesterday where I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make this video in iMovie just because it's been 24 hours since I was supposed to release a video and I haven't. And I went back into iMovie and I was like all confused with like the shortcuts because I had been then using DaVinci Resolve for 3 days. And so I'm like, I can't even remember how to do this in iMovie because now like everything is just a mess. Anyway, it's mostly done now.
Yeah, I think the problem is that you have two projects on your plate, which are kind of different requirements. And I think it's more of a today issue than it seems. Like we talked about it yesterday, right? When we kind of ran into those snags. And we both committed to that, like spending more time to just learn the tool instead of edit, right? Like let's just learn the tool, have fun while we're doing that. Because I think I remember going back to like Premiere Pro times, and it's super frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. But once you kind of figure it out, it's nice, it's fun actually, it's very creative work. But there's just a lot behind it, right? It just takes a lot. I mean, which is good because that's why it's a professional career, right?
Yep. I am gonna drop off because I feel like crap.
I hope you feel better.
Thanks.
Bye, Annie.
Bye. Thanks for your feedback. It was good.
I'll put you a link on our CoStarting.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Who wants to go next?
So I have a short update. So I'll volunteer. So I would say my week was orange. It was a busy week, and but I pushed myself to take some action. So I did review the Reddit recipes, and that recipe with the video that I found was just probably one of a kind. There are a few, but they are rare. So that idea of creating this website, the recipes with videos, probably is not gonna fly. But also I thought about it. No, but this is the interesting thing, that it's not that the Reddit with videos, but rather if you want recipes and videos, you go to YouTube, and most guys who do recipes on YouTube put the recipe on the comments, right, on the description. So really no need for me to reinvent anything. If you want recipes and you want a video that shows you how to do it, you go to YouTube and you will find great recipes and the video associated with them. So I dropped that altogether. And this other thing on the cooking challenge app, I kept the interactions, right, as we discussed with the few people I was discussing with on the Instagram channel. And it's again the challenge thing is probably not of interest, right? At least for this small sample that I got. So
Archie, unfortunately, I seem to have not taken a screenshot. I wanted to take a screenshot for you on this because randomly last weekend on my Facebook, I believe it was,
okay,
there was something which came up which had 149,000 members, and it was hashtag cooking challenge or something like that. I can't find it right now. I was trying to find it again. If I do find it, I'll send it to you. But
right.
I was showing it to Emmy, and I was like, well, look at that. There is interest, right? And it was, I don't think it was just a hashtag. It really was like a challenge you would have entered into somehow, which I thought was perfect kind of validation for you. So I'm sorry for not having taken a screenshot.
No, that's fine. But I guess, of course, your mind starts thinking about how would the app look like, and I have some ideas. Like, it's like, let's say 4 of us are a bunch of friends who are into cooking. So once a week on Sundays, someone posts, "Hey, let's do this." Then you have a week to cook it and post a picture, right? And then the 4 of us vote for who the winner is, meaning that whose recipe looked the best on the picture, and that's it. The winner gets something, either bragging rights or maybe there is a pool of money. But I guess it has to be kind of community based or group of friends based. That would be the MVP, right? Now, in parallel, I kept growing. I paid some attention to my content on Instagram, and I gained 100 followers, right? After we talked about and the actions that I took translated into 100 new followers, which it's interesting too. So that keeps growing. So the lesson learned for me is keep doing that, right? I don't know how I could leverage that, but having all that reach is good. So the other thing I did, I don't know if maybe I told Sven, but not you guys. So about 2 years ago, I came up with the idea of releasing an app. So I have a Garmin watch that I use for running. It's a smart watch, and I released, it's called the Barbecue Boss app, which is pretty much a timer that lets you track different things you're cooking, and each steak has a timer. So I just released it on the Garmin, how do you call it, the App Store. So up to date, it has 1,100 downloads. I don't know how many of those are active users, but 1.1K downloads. It's great, right?
Cool.
So I built in the open, in a sense that I put the code, and it's on GitHub. It's just open for anybody to use and contribute to it. So one random guy thought of an improvement, pushed a change, and together we started developing this app and improving the features. Now, I also reached out to this guy because we have shared interests like barbecuing, and so I described a bit of the journey of umami and all this stuff that I've been trying lately. So I'm also curious to hear what his feedback is, right? He's also kind of into tech, but also I realized one thing, that it's good to talk to others, right? And of course, maybe not to random people on the internet, but perhaps people you know or you trust. So getting that feedback too, it's good. So this is where I'm at, and I think I really want to go back to the basics, right? And find something that excites me. And I probably we discussed that last time. Maybe something on barbecuing, but I want to find something that motivates me to do it. Otherwise, I will be just searching for stuff to do, and that's not ideal, right? It just creates frustration in the long run. So yeah, that's the progress.
That's cool. Is that app up and running still?
Yeah. I use it every time I cook on the grill. I run it. The cool feature, the one I like the most, of course, is the tracking, but also in Garmin, every activity that your watch records gets your GPS coordinates, the time it took for it, and it shows up as a barbecue activity.
Yeah.
So I use that to see how much I barbecued over the year, right? For example. So, right.
That's cool. Does it do like thickness of steak to temperature, and can it do that?
So it's interesting that you mentioned this. So this guy and I did some research, and we found on the Amazon store a thermometer that it's a Bluetooth thermometer that you can hook up your watch to it. And we do have the code that links to the thermometer to have temperature readings, because as you point out, if you cook, temperature is king. It's not about time. It's about temperatures.
Yeah.
Whatever time it takes to get there. But then, coincidentally, talking about Mac apps, I released that. It's also there on my GitHub. The app for Mac that reads that thermometer, and we also have the code for the watch is to connect. And that's the reason why I upgraded my watch, thinking that we could hook it up and monitor the temperature. So that could be also an interesting direction to take. So it's probably we put it in the drawer, that the feature, but could be something to spend time on. But yeah.
Archie, is that functionality you wrote for the watch available for Apple Watch and or just a regular app? Like, I guess the question is, can you just try to extend the audience for the very same problem where you already have an app for it? You will have to rewrite it probably in a different code base, right? But and just see if there is more usage there. And then, because I guess the interesting thing will be version 2, right? Like you just described, maybe that version 2 or the pro version can hook up to the thermometers. Maybe hell, you can even have a proprietary thermometer you sell with it, maybe at some point or something, right? So, but that will only be interesting once you have, 10,000 users, 100,000 users, or something like that.
Right. And my plan, and also we discussed this with the guy that I wrote the watch app with. We at least I wanted to release an Apple app that could hook into, let's say, even to begin with 1 or 2 thermometers, because this Bluetooth connection is the Bluetooth low energy, and not all thermometers support it, right? But for those 2 models that we found that are compatible, I wanted to have the same functionality I have on my watch, but on the iPhone. I think it would be more practical because the reach is greater. Now, there are a few barbecue apps that essentially do the same thing. Yeah, you can. Let's say there are thermometers. Let me put it this way: brands of thermometers that come with an app, smart app, that put timers and warnings. Your phone vibrates or whatever to tell you, hey, your food is ready. Go and check it out. Go to next phase. So this is again interesting because I don't want to compete with those, right? But rather I need to find a twist to this whole thing of cooking with a connection to thermometer that makes it fun and exciting. Let's say something that I would use, right? And what I thought of maybe in connection to some community, right? Something where you post your creations, pictures, and or analytics on your cooking, whatever that is. I need to think about it.
Or just make what exists and is popular but shitty better. Right? That's a proven business model. That works really well. As a matter of fact, I'm mentoring a company right now. They have like 60 apps or something, right? Like, a lot of them are just the same ones for a different country, for example. But they just, right now they're working on an app, which is a forms app. And like they identified an issue which everyone wanted, that you can't download the forms from these forms apps. You can fill it out and whatever, and maybe print it, or I don't know exactly what the problem was. And they're rebuilding that. It's a small app kind of thing, and it costs $1, or you have to watch an ad. I think is their business model. So find what is shitty about those thermometer apps, and why are people using your watch app, and combine those 2 things, and keep it small, right? And maybe that's enough, because I think you're, at least from my interpretation, you're at that stage where you just need to get that first thing out, which has some traction, which gets you excited, is in your space. It doesn't need to make $1 million yet, right? But then you can build on that, right? You release more products, you extend them. So maybe look at every single, well, that's going to take a while, but every single barbecue app, and what's shitty about them. Read the comments. What are people complaining about?
Right. It's interesting that you mentioned this. As I was sort of doing this research on iOS development, I came across this YouTuber who posts videos on how to code apps. And once he had a kind of a how you call this, when people talk, a podcast, right? When he invited a very successful guy in releasing apps, and they talk about a few, let's say, app intelligence platforms that you can go to exactly filter comments by which ones are negative, sentiment about the app, how much the app is making in revenue every month. So that's what they do. And what you just mentioned, just pick on a proven model and just improve what people don't like, make it better. And apparently that's a very successful way to create apps, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
I just think it'd be cool. one, to be able to take a picture of your piece of meat and to tell you exactly, it could see the dimensions and the weight somehow, or maybe it could take a picture of the packaging and you can give out directions of how to cook that piece of meat. Two, you could choose a stance on barbecuing. Maybe just niche it down to steaks, because people mutilate steaks. Maybe just make your app be able to make the perfect medium rare steak.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Okay.
In my
Okay,
opinion,
that's interesting.
If you're gonna eat a steak, it should be medium rare. People just like burn their steaks, and they're like, there's no point. You ruin the meat, in my opinion. But like, maybe have a stance on something, create the perfect steak, griller or what griller app, something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Archie, I have it. What Steve just said, we're going to collaborate and we're going to create the perfect steak app.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all the app does, it's going to be $9.99. And all the app does, it shows you in the store or something, it shows you a little video. And I mean, at first I was thinking, you take the steak and you throw it out, and then you take the tofu and you grill it. but of course you can't throw it out, because that would go against it, because you would need to buy it still. You see my
and then you get the
rebellious vegan side at it.
the perfect soy steak.
I mean, or the only way to cook a steak or to eat a steak or something, right? Because from a vegan perspective, that is the only way, by not eating actually a steak.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a lot of hate from the meat eaters who bought the app for $10.99. But that would be shitly funny, man.
What the hell?
Interesting. Yeah. So work in progress. Trying to find my niche, trying to find something cool and exciting, and then really focus. I think that's important. And this is not something new, right? I've been struggling with that. It's like, the moment my umami bot didn't work, I just lost grounding, and I've been trying a bunch of stuff, but I think it's part of the journey also. It's you gotta try and think, but yeah. Cool. Good. I mean, good discussion, guys. Thanks.
Justin, 6 sales, maybe 7?
Yeah, no, not 7 yet, but color-wise here, I'd say I'm jaundice. Might be from the liver. or yellow from the stoplight. Yeah, so since last week we met, went from 4 to 6 sales. I do know one of them though, so technically 5 actual customers, but still, again, completely blown away. Honestly, I truly thought when I had my original launch criteria of having one customer, one paying customer without a gun to their head, that would be near impossible to have achieved.
Yeah.
So to have 5 is truly astonishing. And now that we've had a week of App Store analytics, it came back. I've had 2,700 impressions and 145 product page views, which, again, I've done 0 promotion besides telling you guys, and then literally 2 other friends that all that know. So all of that's just been organic search in the Mac App Store. So that's quite exciting. I think a testament to what a great audience you have. And the Mac App Store is known as the weakest Apple App Store. Right, the iOS one's by far number 1, then iPad, and maybe tvOS and for the Apple TV, and then Mac OS. But still, it's not known as definitely much weaker audience available there as opposed to the iOS. But still, so that's very exciting, and it's keeping the momentum going. I did launch the very bare bones website, ChristySoftware.com, just to have something up there as opposed to pointing everyone to my blog. My personal blog that just kind of made no sense for why are people being pointed there, like especially the help and whatnot that I had in the app itself was going to a blog. So corrected all that. Everything now links to ChristySoftware.com, and obviously need to spend some time fleshing that out, but at least have the bare minimum up there now for what I'm doing. And still working on the next point update as well for Optionator, which will add in a couple of missing features that I think are really crucial before I want to even try promoting it. I'm probably 80% of the way there done. If I would just stick my head down and work for a few hours, I would get that out the door tomorrow. So I'll definitely try to do that. And then with that, again, I probably said this now 2 weeks in a row, but I want to get that last update out and then focus on that new web dev utility. And I guess to speak to what Archie said, he spoke with that guy that started working on his open source app that he had there from a couple of years ago, and it was like-minded, so it's good to bounce ideas off. I agree as well. It was Kyle from Cohort1 that I met with, and he's a web developer, and he validated that idea. I think I mentioned that before in a previous meeting that we had, but he validated the idea. He said, that sounds awesome. I would use it, and I know a few other people that would use it as well that I could tell. So just talking to somebody else, because no one here in the cohort besides Sven, but you're not a Mac user, so it wouldn't affect you. No one would be able to kind of provide that validation or feedback, right? So speaking to someone else that's at least similar in that industry or had the similar skill sets or interests as well, like what Ark mentioned there, it's a good person to validate your ideas or bounce ideas off or be a sounding board at least as well. We're here though. I appreciate just the general, almost bigger picture stuff, right? Like I can't say, hey, would you use this app? Because if you're not in that industry, you're going to say I have no idea. But more so of what should my next plan of attack be, or if I having this problem, what should it be? So I really like this format for that aspect of it. But yeah, I think it's crucial as well to have at least one person that is like-minded in that way of the same skills that you have to then bounce those ideas off.
Yeah, and I think for this next product, right, Twitter should be great for that, I think. Because, well, first of all, Mac, right, anything Apple, there's going to be tons of users, like fanboys, which you could talk to. And then it's the intersection of the Mac fanboy software developer, right? They shouldn't be too hard to find either. Same thing on Reddit, of course, for you, but we talked about that challenge before. But yeah, but nonetheless, man, I mean, it's 3.4% conversion from page views to purchase. That's not bad. I mean, I don't know what it should be, but I mean, that sounds pretty decent, right? To start with nothing.
Right, and especially too, like as you know, in both the Google Play Store and Apple App Store, regardless of platform, everything is either free or freemium model. So to have a price at the front door for you to even demo the product, that's a big barrier to entry. But I wanted to do that, purposely. So that, and to have that, I think that's huge. A 3.5% conversion, and again with zero promotion, literally just putting it up there and walking away.
Right. Can you now build in like feedback loops? Maybe in the next
that just was completely lost on me. I have actually no analytics, so no crash analytics. Apple's told me it crashed once for one user, but I don't have any insight into it. I just have no analytics of any kind in there to gather some more insight from the actual users.
Yeah, and beyond that, maybe like direct feedback. I don't know if you can directly talk to them somehow. That'd be great. I don't know.
So I have to build something out in there as well. But it's funny. As soon as I launched, I then realized how much I really still have to do. But the true bare minimum is down here, but then what you really should do is up here.
Yeah, that's always like that, right?
I mean, it's so fun. Again, I mean, we're talking, pennies here. Well, actually dollars, at least double-digit dollars now, because we're above $10. But I mean, just so exciting because again, I fully was expecting none.
Yeah.
So to have 5 to 6 is huge.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, again, the only thing I can say is congrats. That is the proof right there. I think you're still the poster child for it, right? Just get it out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And they must not be that dissatisfied because no one requested a refund and no low reviews.
That's cool. Awesome.
I sent you this dude. He sold something. I sent you on Slack his Twitter account and what he's making now. He sold something a while ago, so he decided to build. He's decided to build something in the financial space now. So it might be someone to just contact to see what his insights are as to why he's building a financial product after he's not a financial guy, I'm pretty sure. And maybe, or just see what he's building and see where you could play into that. They're obviously seeing something. I seen another kid who's well off on his first project, and now he's making a financial tool. I forget his name. He's actually from Rochester. I'll get his name from you.
Oh. Yeah, I see here in the first one that you sent there, you just a tweet said we've just added a new question about device usage to the early access forum, and I don't know if he's trying to say that the majority of the answers are desktop or not, but I think just throwing that in there too. That's kind of exciting to see, because usually everybody just wants everything done on their smartphone.
Yeah.
Or I'm kind of the opposite depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah, so there's at least something. There's something there to latch onto and put your twist on it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks.
He's interesting. He also does laser tweets, I think, right? Is that the same guy?
I'm not sure exactly what he's about. I remember reading he had an interview somewhere, and I think he sold something. I'm not sure what.
Oh yeah, no, he's the founder of Barometrics. He sold that,
okay.
and he's doing laser tweets, which you can get like literally a laser engraving of a tweet.
Oh.
Yeah, I follow him too. He's an interesting guy.
Oh yeah, right there. I didn't read it.
Is it maybe finance, the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one that I was looking at.
I'm not sure what it is. I know it's a tool of some sort.
Maybe.co. That's a great domain. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's funny, right? Like, sorry not to hijack your update here, but have you guys noticed how we are going in product names towards just common names now? Like, I mean, for a while actually, right? But like maybe testimonial.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
And I think it's kind of really interesting. It's super hard, right, for SEO purposes, but it's smart because by making that decision, you basically elect to not care about copyright. Because you're not going to be able to copyright.
And you're out. It's a good tactic too, because you're essentially owning a common word, and people will be able to establish you with a word at some point.
Right. I mean, that's why I'm kind of impressed, because maybe.co is impressive. I use Wave apps for my accounting, for example.
Yeah.
And they still have only I think waveapps.com or something, and not wave.com or .co.
There is another Wave. There's another Wave out there, because I use Wave apps as well, and then there is another Wave that does something I think similar actually.
Yeah, that's very possible. Cool. Anything else you wanted to add, Justin?
No, that's it.
Sweet. And we're already over time, but anything else you guys want to talk through for a couple minutes?
Not from my side, and I gotta run soon, so it's good time to maybe close for me.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything.
Yeah,
gotta go eat.
What was that?
Gotta go eat. Get my medium rare going.
Grill that medium rare tofu, Justin. All right, cool, great. Well, it's always good catching up with you guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you next week.
See ya.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you.